Welcome everyone to this presentation about HSH or Holovator Shiny Hunting. You've just got a taste of what's coming with that short intro, and today I'm going to talk about HSH for Pokémon Z-A and specifically for the DLC Mega Dimensions. First, I'm going to talk about hyperspace halls in general. Then we'll go over the method itself. And after that, we'll have a look at the maps and the layouts, and more specifically for small and medium-sized maps. I didn't do the research for large, so if someone wants to do that, go ahead. And at the end, we'll have the practical examples. Now, about hyperspace halls, let's go over quickly because you should know all this information already. Hyperspace halls come in different sizes, small, medium, large. Each size has its own maps, and each map has its own layouts. Entrances are also randomized. And the last point on this slide is when you spawn a hall, the map, the layout, and the entrance are fixed, as well as the mon you'll find inside. But in the preview on the map, sometimes the mons can change. So be aware of that, because if you load a backup save, you may find a different preview. Next, you can re-roll the positions of the Pokémon inside the hall, which means that if your target mon did not spawn in a place you can HSH it, you can quit the game, roll back to the backup save, and try again until it is spawned in a place favorable for HSH. Next, Holovators themselves don't despawn the Pokémons, only the distance does, which means that with some Holovators, HSH is impossible or it is not worth it. The higher the rank of the donut compared to the rank of the hall, the more time you'll have to shiny hunt, which means sparkling power is less important. This statement is true to a certain extent, and we'll see why later. And lastly, don't forget that the game only renders 10 shiny Pokémons at a time, which means you need to check the groups regularly so that you don't lose any. This depends on the sparkling power, right? If you have a sparkling power level 3, usually it's around 30 minutes. I usually do it around 30 minutes. It's between 30 minutes on maybe 45 minutes. But if you have like sparkling power level 1, maybe check the groups every hour. So how does it work? So let's have a look. First, you want to pick a Pokemon you want to shiny hunt. And more than that, you want also to do the research about it. Let me explain. Down below, you find a link to Serebii, where you can find all the possible hyperspace halls where a mon can appear. So, for example, if you want to shiny hunt Kecleon, well, Kecleon can only appear in normal 4-star hyperspace halls. So when you look at the map, just check these halls and don't waste your time checking everything else. Another example, you want to shiny hunt Indeedee. Indeedee can only appear in normal 3 stars hyperspace halls. So there's no point checking the psychic halls, right? Or to check lower or higher rank normal hyperspace halls. So it will save you a lot of time and it will make the hunt more efficient. Next, you need to have your donut ready. Now, depending on the star rank of the hall your target Pokemon can spawn in, you'll need to check if a level 3 sparkling power is indeed needed. For 4 and 5 star halls, I would still advise you to use a level 3 sparkling power, because in there time flies and you want to maximize your odds to spawn the shiny. Moreover, trade evolutions and regional forms will spawn in clusters, which means you have a 20% chance to spawn it And then you need to add the 50% chance for the size power. And then on top of that, the roll for the shiny itself. Next, you want to check the holes on the map. And if you don't find any, you want to refresh them by switching between day and night at a bench. And you want to do that next to a Pokémon Center, because when you find a hole with the target Pokémon, you want to heal to create a backup save. Next, you want to check the hole, identify the map on the layout, and if these don't allow HSH, you want to quit the game and load the backup save, and then find another hole. Now, once you find a good map, you want to check the spawns to see if the target Pokémon can be HSH. And if that's the case, you drop a save on top of the Holovator and start the hunt. Please don't do anything that could trigger an autosave, so don't die, don't drop a manual save, don't catch a Pokémon, and most importantly, don't fast travel. Now, if you did not find the size you're looking for, so an alpha or a teensy, and you're dealing with a higher rank hyperspace hole, you might want to quit the game and reload normally. It's going to bring you back to your manual save, and you can start shiny hunting again. If you're shiny hunting an alpha, it's going to be real easy to distinguish between an alpha and another size. So you just want to quit the game and reload normally. But if you're shiny hunting a teensy, it's going to be harder to distinguish between an S and an XS, which means you need to catch them to check their size. If you don't find any, quit the game, but because the game autosaves every time you catch a mon, instead of loading normally, you need to roll back to the backup save and restart the hunt from there. Now, if you did not get the target mon in the right position for HSH, quit the game, load the backup save, check the hole again, and repeat until you spawn the mon in the right position. For example, here, I'm trying to swap the Scolopeds group for another one, but be aware that some groups seem impossible to swap. Here, I never managed to swap the Scyther group next to the entrance. When I was shiny hunting in DD, I found the exact same map and they spawned next to the entrance too. Then when I reroll like 10 times, I never managed to change their spot. So it seems that some spawns or some positions or some spots are impossible to move around. So be aware of that. So why would you want to use HSH instead of the fast travel method? Well, sparkling power matters less with HSH because of the sheer amount of refreshing you're going to do thanks to the Holovators. So you can focus on size power instead of sparkling power. Though be aware that if you're looking for an alpha, trade evolution or regional form, again, I still advise you to get a sparkling power level 3 because you need to spawn it, then you need to roll the alpha, and then you need to roll the shiny. So to maximize your odds, go with a sparkling power level 3. Another advantage that HSH has over the fast travel method is that because you're not fast traveling, the game is not auto-saving, which means you can always restart the hunt whenever you want because you did not get the size you wanted, right? And this is even more important when you're trying to shalfa, for example, trade evolution on regional forms. Again, I'm repeating myself. You also don't need a macro controller. If you have a turbo controller, it's going to be enough. And with low star rank hyperspace holes, you can fill boxes with shiny Pokemons if you want with this method. Here's an example of one donut. So this hunt was for Shalfa Aromatisse, and you can see there's like a full box of mons, right? It was in one of the best spots to shiny hunt or to use this method because you can shiny hunt 3 groups at the same time. Obviously, my goal was Shalfa Aromatisse, so I use a level 3 sparkling power to maximize my odds. And I managed also to get the Jigglypuffs and some Florents too. You also need to add 3 more mons, one of each species that are already EV'd for ranked. So that was basically 29 shinies with 1 donut. So obviously you can shiny hunt multiple Pokemons at the same time, up to 3. And the main reason you want to use HSH is for trade evolutions on regional forms that spawn in clusters. And why it is so good? Why is HSH so good for example, shiny hunting and Alpha Alakazam? Because you're not dropping any autosaves. The fast travel method drops autosaves, so it's wasting time. With HSH, you save before shiny hunting, which means and you don't do anything that drop an autosave. And which means if you don't get the Shalfa Alakazam, the Shalfa Scizor, for example, you can always roll back to the start of the hunt and start again. So that's one of the best reasons you want to use HSH. What about your odds of finding a shiny Pokemon? So the first table at the top is the shiny odds with the shiny charm. So you basically, if you refresh a Pokemon, so if you despawn and respawn the Pokemon 124 times, you should theoretically get a shiny if you have the shiny charm. Now with Sparkling Power 1, it drops to 819. And for Sparkling Power level 3, it drops to 585. Then I decided to use the Holovator for exactly 1 minute with my hands. And I managed to get 10 checks. A check is me despawning the Pokemon and respawning it. So it's a back and forth on the Holovator. And then I decided to use the Turbo Controller, but this time, instead of counting the time, I did it for 10 checks. And I achieved the time of 58 seconds. So it's basically the same if you use your hands or a Turbo Controller. The Turbo Controller allows you to do something else while you shiny hunt. That's it. Now, I want you to have a look at the table with the time on the checks. So, the time is in minutes. So, it means after 1 minute, we do 10 checks. So, we already know that. After 10 minutes, we do 100. After an hour, we do 600. After an hour and a half, around, we do 800 checks. And after 100 minutes, which is around 2 hours, you get, or an hour and a half too, you get 1,000 checks. Which means if you have a Sparkling Power level 3, after an hour, you should get the full group shiny. For lower star ranked, so for 1 star or 2 stars, you could just shiny hunt without Sparkling Power, and you should get the full group shiny after around 2 hours, after an hour and 40 minutes. The table on the right shows you when you should theoretically get a shiny when you look at the full group instead of looking at a particular mon. So the first number is 4. So instead of looking at one particular mon, as I said, we look at the full group. So a group of 4. For example, Water 1 has an Holovator where you can actually shiny hunt a group of 4. Water 2 has an Holovator that shiny hunts 2 groups of 4. So with a group of 4, it's 40 checks per minute. So the PM is per minute. So if you decide to shiny hunt without any Sparkling Power, theoretically, the shiny should spawn after 26 minutes. Then, if you decide to shiny hunt with a Sparkling Power level 3, you look at the last row, you should theoretically get the shiny after 15 minutes. Another example is Grass 2. Grass 2 will allow you to shiny hunt 2 groups of 6 Pokemon at the same time. So if we look at the 12, it is 120 checks per minute, which means if you decide to shiny hunt without any Sparkling Power, theoretically after 9 minutes, you should get a shiny. And if you decide to shiny hunt with Sparkling Power level 3, theoretically after 5 minutes, you should get a shiny. So it means every 5 minutes, you should get a shiny. And the main disadvantage of the HSH method is the time, right? It's going to take you a lot of time. You need to get the right donut, and then you need to get the right, to find the hole with the Pokemon you want to shiny hunt, and then the right map with the right layout. And then you also needs to shiny hunt, so it's maybe an hour depending on the Pokemon. So yeah, it takes a lot of time. Okay, so finally the crispy part with the maps. So let's have a look at them. So we'll start with the small maps. And for that size, you only have 2 different maps. You have the hill and you have the sewers. And we're not going to go over the different layouts because there's only one that will matter. It is the sewer map with the set of Holovators. So let's have a look at it. Okay, here's a shot of the sewer map there with the set of Holovators. As I said, it's the only map with Holovators, and you can see, I don't know if you... we're going to see it later, but you're going to see the Holovators goes over a fake wall. There you have the fake wall. Okay, and you're going to shiny hunt this group there. So there's 3 alphas and 3 small ones. And now I'm going to show you that we actually refresh the spawns. That's how I got my shelf up easy. That was with this map. So I don't know what I'm doing there. Yeah, come on. Okay, now, see. Now we have a full group of alphas, actually. Okay, so now let's have a look at the medium-sized maps. So here you have 3 different types of maps. You have grass, water, and moor. No, it's not fire. And each of these maps has 4 different layouts, okay? But for the moor map, none of its layouts allow for HSH. So you only have 2 types of maps you really want. It's grass and water, which means when you're HSH, every time you find a moor map, just quit the game and go back to the backup saves immediately. There's no point like looking for the layout. First, the grass map. The grass map is the map with a patch of grass in the middle, surrounded by buildings. And the first layout is the layout with a set of Holovators in the middle. Okay, so here's the map with the layout. So as I said, you have the set of Holovators there in the middle. And with this layout, you'll be able to shiny hunt 3 different groups at the same time. But there's a big bot there. There's a big bot. So this is one of the groups you can shiny hunt. It's the group on the left. You can also shiny hunt a group in the front. I'm going to show you here. I'm just showing you that I'm actually refreshing the spots, but it's not going to work because we actually spawn the same 2. No, we actually spawn again 2 alphas and a bunch of smaller ones. Now, but it works. It works. The second group there is in the front there. You're gonna shiny hunt. And there's something important you need to know there is that you're gonna mainly shiny hunt these 2 groups, and sometimes you'll be able to get maybe 1 or 2 in this 3rd group there. So if you want to shiny hunt in this map with this layout, I would advise you to focus on the group on the left and on the group in front of you, right? So if the Pokemon you want to shiny hunt spawn in the group on the right, I would still advise you to roll back to the backup save and try to change its spot so that it spawns in the group on the left or in the group in front of you. Next, we have the second layout of the grass map. So in this one, you have nothing in the middle, but all the paths leading to the center of the map are blocked. Okay, so there you can see the pile of sludge. Here you see the containers. You see more containers. You can see boulders in the back. And here, more containers. So here's the Holovator you're gonna use to shiny hunt. So there's 2 different groups you're gonna refresh. And yeah, so the second group is behind the scaffolding, so you need to be aware of that. Now I'm going to show you the live footage there that we actually refresh the groups. So in this one, you see there's an alpha widow. Now we're going to use the Holovator. I'm not going to show you the second group because I actually discovered that you can shiny hunt the second group while shiny hunting the parrot, the Elvis parrot. Yeah, you can see there's a Kakuna in the back. And now... Okay, now there's 2 alphas Kakunas. So yeah, you actually refresh the group. Now I'm gonna talk briefly about the 2 layouts you can't HSH. So you're gonna have grass 3 and grass 4 so that you can differentiate them from the good ones. So grass 3 is the layout with containers in the middle. You can see them. And grass 4 is the layout with nothing in the middle, but every path leading to the center of the map are open. So there's nothing blocking your way to the center of the map. Next, we have the water map. So the water map is the map with some water inside. And in this area, you'll see there's a small bridge and there's a gate. So here you can see the gate leading to this enclosed area. And this gate is important because it will help you identify the layout. Now, Water 1 map, you can see from this pic or from this point of view that you have an Holovator on top of the gate and that the gate is also blocked by some shards. So for this map, there's a bunch of Holovators available to you. So this is the first set. It will allow you to shiny hunt 4 Pokemon of a group, so the 4 closest one. And on the other side of the building, you can shiny hunt maybe 1 to 2 Pokemon from the group next to the gate. Here's the second set of Holovators. You actually have 2 different Holovators you can use to shiny hunt the exact same group. So pick the one you prefer. And finally, the last set of Holovators. You can find them on the roof, and this is the Holovator on top of the gate too. So with these sets, you can shiny hunt 2 full groups and 2 out of 6 with the last group. Now let's have a look at the live footage. Okay, so here we have 1 group you can shiny hunt with the first set of Holovators there. So you're gonna shiny hunt only the 4 closest ones. You can also shiny hunt 2 of them with the set of Holovators on the roof. So here's the second set of Holovators where you can shiny hunt a full group right there. I don't think I'm gonna show you the other one. No, I don't think I'm gonna show you the other one. Well, I'm sorry. At least you have the pics, right? And now I'm gonna show you the rooftop. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that was for my Serebii hunt. Yeah, I was checking for the guaranteed shiny. So here's the group you're gonna get maybe 1 to 2 when you shiny hunting with the first set of Holovator. And here's 1 group and quickly the second group there that you can shiny hunt with the roof Holovator. So we went through this rather quickly, but it's all gonna become clear once we checked the examples. Next, Water 2. So this time the gate is open, there's nothing blocking it. And also you can see the Meditite right there. And in another layout, there's going to be a Holovator right there. So for Water 2, the gate is open. There's nothing blocking it. And there's no Holovator in this enclosed area. Okay, about the Holovators we're going to use to shiny hunt in Water 2. So there's one on the rooftop where you can shiny hunt 2 different groups at the same time, but you're only going to be able to shiny hunt the 4 closest Pokemons in each group. There's also a Holovator on the ground, but with this one, I'm not sure if you can refresh the group on the terrace. You absolutely can refresh the group on the ground, so behind the container right there. But if you use the Holovator on the roof, you will achieve the same result. Okay, so here you can see the Holovator on the ground, but there's no point using it. Now I'm gonna show you how you can reach the rooftop. Okay, it's done. And you can see... Okay, you need to jump right there. And right here you can see the terrace. And am I gonna show you... No, I didn't show you the group on the ground, but when we're gonna reach the examples, you're gonna have a clear picture of it. Water 3 is the layout with the gate blocked by a container, and with this layout, you can't HSH. You're still gonna find some Holovators in Water 3, but you're not gonna be able to refresh the groups. So here I'm trying to refresh this group of foxes. But you see that I'm not refreshing at all. It's always the same, and here I'm trying to refresh by just making a few steps back, but it's not working at all. So yeah, so this one, just do not use it. You're not gonna be able to do anything with this. And now I think I'm gonna try the Holovator on the roof. There's one. Okay, so I'm gonna have a look now. I'm gonna show you that it's not worth it now. So with this Holovator, you're only gonna refresh 2 Pokemons out of the group there on the ground. I think the 4 others are too close to be refreshed, but you're gonna also refresh the 2 Pokemons right there on the roof. And the last layout is Water 4. On Water 4, you can see there the gate is open, and there's also a set of Holovators in the enclosed area. Now, with the ground Holovator, you can shiny hunt 2 different groups that you can see in the pics. So one is behind the gate, and the other one is behind the buildings, so be aware of that. And with the roof Holovators, you can also shiny hunt 2 different groups, one on each side of the Holovators. Now, the live footage there, so you can immediately see the Holovator. You can see that the gate is not blocked by anything. So yeah, so now what am I doing? I think I'm gonna use it. Oh, I'm taking pics. Okay, well. Okay, use it, please. So, okay, so this is one of the group you can shiny hunt with the rooftop Holovator. And now I'm gonna show you the group. Okay, this is one of the group you can shiny hunt with the ground Holovator right there. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you that you're actually refreshing the group. Am I? No, not even. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I was just checking the map, right? Yeah. Oh, you can see the roof Holovator right there. So here's the roof Holovator. And I'm gonna show you the group. Okay, I see. Okay, no, I'm not gonna show you the group. Okay, this is the other group you can shiny hunt with the roof Holovator. And right there at the end of the alley, right there, this is the second group you can shiny hunt with the ground Holovator. So this group, you're not going to be able to see it when you shiny hunt with the ground Holovator because it's behind the buildings. here's a quick recap of all the maps that are favorable for HSH. So now, assuming you have the same odds of finding a map, a particular map with a particular layout. So for the small maps, 1/5 of the time you'll find the map to shiny hunt with HSH. But if you look at the medium-sized map, almost half of the time, so it's a little less half of the time, or a little more 1/3 of the time, you'll find a favorable map for HSH, which is pretty good, right? But before we take a look at the examples, I just want to quickly remind you that you should always save on top of the Holovator before HSH. You should never do anything that would trigger an autosave during HSH in case you need to roll back to the start of the hunt. Once HSH is over, you should check the Pokemons, and if you find the desired Pokemon, for example a Shalfa, you should definitely save before catching them, because some of these Pokemons have low catch rates, which means you need to knock them out first and then you can throw the ball. But they might not stay in the ball, so you might need a couple of tries before catching them. And lastly, I can't stress enough that if you know where a mon can spawn, you'll be able to deduce its presence or not. Here we have a 4-star electric hole with Jolteon on the Pikachu line. And I can assure you that a Alolan Raichu is there too. If we take a look at the Serebii page for 4-star electric holes, we see that Jolteon can appear with the Pikachu line and a Alolan Raichu, but also with Toxtricity and Heliolisk lines, right? So here we're in the second case, which means Alolan Raichu is there too, but it's not in the preview. Okay, here are the examples. I'm not gonna comment all of them, there's no point, but I want to add a couple of things. First, you can check the timer. It is really interesting because with one donut, sometimes you'll be able to do multiple HSH. And I'm gonna give you an example with Grass 1, with the Golisopod's hunt. I was able to do it 3 times in a row. Also check the donuts too, because you're gonna see throughout all these examples that I'm not always using a level 3 sparkling power. And lastly, I would advise you at least to check Grass 2 and the end of Water 1. So with Grass 2, you'll have the clear picture of the 2 groups you can shiny hunt, and there's the one behind the scaffoldings. And at the end of Water 1, I'm shiny hunting with the Roof Holovator, and you can clearly see the 2 groups you can shiny hunt, and then the 1 or 2 Pokemons on the ground too. Before we wrap up, I just want to show you that there are also really good entrances for shiny hunting. And when you're shiny hunting, you don't necessarily need to use HSH automatically. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoy the content, and I hope it will be helpful, and I hope you're gonna get the shiny you like. Now, I usually don't beg for likes, but this video took me a lot of time to make, so I would appreciate one for the hard work. And other than that, I'm gonna wish you the best, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.